Tony, I'm just in awe of what Mindy just said, basically laying out the whole. I didn't know we did all that. I thought we were just talking to our computers at 6 in the morning, or at least where I am. I didn't know we had all that going on. I'm kidding you, but it's awesome, really, what you brought us.
Oh,
It's a blessing, and it's
yeah.
pretty cool to have a following. I mean, we're getting pretty fired up right now just watching these numbers grow, uh, almost show by show.
Yeah, I mean, the numbers have been impressive. You have the back end access. You see the numbers of the reviews. They're fantastic. It's a really good community. Both you and Mindy are very knowledgeable and very both likable personalities. That we put that combination together, and look what happens with the knowledge, the personality, likability, and before you know it, good manners. And before you know it, that's how you build up. That's how you build up the audience there. So fantastic work between you and Mindy. Tonight we go over to college basketball on ESPN Plus as UMass here will host Towson here. UMass -3, total 148.
Yeah, it's almost like having my own hype person when I have Mindy keeping me hyped up. Hey, yeah, so tonight, Tony, a pretty good matchup here with Towson and UMass, but this one's been on the move, right? Take a look at that line at UMass -3. I think the general opener was probably about a pick 'em, maybe UMass by a point, but there were rogue openers that even had Towson an early favorite, but that was probably before the results from those season openers. Towson, they still have Coach Scary, but they won their opener just 67-62 as a 16-point favorite over Albany. Meanwhile, UMass and Frank Martin, I think Minnie and I talked about the opener that they had. I'm trying to remember we were talking some in there about Frank Martin and how he's where he ended up at UMass, and interesting how his career has ended up here, considering his two previous stops. But he won his opener quite convincingly, 94-67 as a 17.5 point favorite in an easy over by 17.5 points as well over Central Connecticut, one of the bottom feeders in the country, certainly in the bottom grouping there, if you will. So I think maybe that's what bettors are seeing today, and I'm seeing it that way too, Tony. I think UMass today comes in and takes care of Towson. I think Martin might uh, be in a spot where he can do his thing again, and giving up just 67 points. Yeah, they're playing Central Connecticut, and they were able to get a bunch of guys in the game out. So meanwhile, Towson, they had to kind of stick to their rotations because they were in a tight game with Albany, and Albany is, they're not as bad as Central Connecticut, but they're certainly down there, probably top 300 or so. So they, didn't come close to covering 16 points. They end up playing just really a 7-guy rotation. Now, Towson, they're a veteran team, man. They've got all seniors really carrying the bulk of the load this year. They still got Cam Holden and Timberlake and Charles Thompson in the middle. But, Barton's already bringing in guys. He's got freshman forward R.J. Lewis and also another freshman coming off the bench and Keon Thompson. TJ Weeks is still the shooter there, and they have Brandon Martin. They have Noah Fernandez still on UMass. So Martin, if you're UMass, you're kind of glad you got him. It's going to be some fun with Coach Martin, considering his skill level and coaching this UMass team. Last year with South Carolina, UMass, they beat Upstate in their season opener. Had to play Princeton the next time out, lost that game, but after that beat teams like Western Kentucky, UAB, Wofford, and teams like that as part of an 8-2 start. So I think that UMass can get off to a pretty decent start given their mediocre schedule here early on. Towson's a great opponent to have, certainly. So, but just think about last year, Towson with they're kind of in a consistent situation with their coach. I mean, he's been around, oh gosh, 10, 11, 12 years now. They beat Albany last year in the season opener, just like this year, but then they lost their next game out to Monmouth. So I think it's going to be tough to go play UMass and a Frank Martin team that wants to, kind of get on, show what Frank Martin's on. So, you can overhype a coach sometimes, but pretty good hire there for UMass probably.
Yeah, pretty good high there for UMass. Of course, Towson are bringing back four returning starters. But I was reading, I was reading a little bit. We all read the previews. I like the blue ribbon myself, and what caught my attention, Ramon. I don't know if you've looked at this. The quote here for Frank Martin. He's always forthright. Now, this is from his quotes here on the blue ribbon. He says, this is Martin addressing his player. The majority of us ended up here through failure. The guys who came with me from South Carolina, their coach got fired. The guys who were in the program, their coach got fired. The transfers from other schools, from their situations, didn't turn out the way they wanted. Failure has brought us all together.
I love listening to Coach Martin in his press conferences. He's a real dude. So wouldn't surprise me. Take a bunch of misfits. You got a bad news bears situation, and probably end up doing some damage somewhere along the line. We'll probably be talking about Frank Martin and UMass come March.
Yep. Yeah, loved what had that run with this with South Carolina. Things went the other way for him. Did got hit hard with COVID. He got it twice hard.
Oh
So
no, that was the beginning of the end, really. It was back the next year or two, but they had to start off right in conference. They were all messed up at that time. I think they won just a handful of games that year. So, things happen. And but you'd think with Martin, he could end up, I'm not saying he could just name his job, but again, there's something taking on a situation like this kind of just shows the type of guy he is. I mean, you got to take on a challenge.
yep, no doubt about that. Can handle UMass. He was a former bodyguard, so he can handle those tough streets out there in Boston. UMass here laying 3 against Towson. This one will have a start time of 7 Eastern time. All right, Ramon, let's take a look over at TonySpix.com. We've been on absolute fire over the last 30 days. 3,026 units of profit. Now, these numbers are all documented over at Tony's Picks here for the past 3 days, all showing great profit here for the year. 1,024 units. Last 7 days have been on great results as well. 384 units of profit. All right, tonight, Ramon. Well, we've got the NFL game, the Carolina and Atlanta. We got a couple from college football, lots from college hoops, NBA, a lot on the ice. What do you have going on over at Tony's Picks?
An NFL game, you say, huh, Tony? Yeah. Yeah, you know what? I'll be in action in that NFL game. We know there's some late breaking news there, so head on over to Tony's Picks. Ramon, I got my $15 best bet, Tony. I figured, why not put it on this game? Everyone's kind of making fun of this game. You got some crummy teams maybe there. It doesn't necessarily mean it's not going to be a bad game. The spread's rated pretty closely there, so got some weather issues. We'll see what happens. We saw Baker Mayfield come in the game. He do a pretty good job. Don't be surprised if things don't get off to a good start. We might see Baker in there, back in there right now for the Panthers if things don't get quite going here tonight against against the Falcons. But hey, listen. I got a 5-pack in college basketball. I'm off to a 5-2 start in college basketball, so I'm gonna strike there tonight. Off a rough night, ended my winning streak a little bit. So maybe I got a little too cocky, Tony. Felt like when I got off the show with you, I was like, man, I was really talking up a big game, and I didn't come through last night. But the team did. Mindy and I went 8-4 with our premium consensus selection, so that made me feel a lot better as well. Because I had told her on a couple of plays, I said, you know what, this is probably a premium play for me, but I want to give it out here to our team Steam, and so came through with a pretty good night there, 8-4 on the morning show. Made me feel a little better about my winning streak coming to it, but I'll hopefully get that back tonight. Also got a couple of games in the NBA that I've packaged up with a college football game tonight. Kind of an odd schedule there. 4 games in the NBA, just had 2 premiums. So I put it in a 3-pack for $30 with one of the college football games tonight. And also I'm coming in with a Thursday night 3-pack in the NHL. There you see it there. Been on a pretty good roll there, and that came to an end last night too. So I'm going to bounce back. Hey, I'm 45-25, Tony, over the last 30 days in the NHL over at Tony'sPicks.com. And to mention that college football game that I packaged with the NBA, I'm up 2,500 units there this year in the NBA at Tony's Picks, and also in college football so far this season. 34-19 over the last 30 days in college football. Pretty strong right there, I'd say. Also 12-5 over the last 7 days in college football here on the site. Tony, there it is right there. So there you see it, 5-2 in NCAA basketball, 12-5 in college football, all documented. That's the way you have this thing set up, Tony. We don't type in the results and say, "Look at us, look at us." We have to earn it, if you will, against some of the toughest lines in the world, and that's what we try to do: is pass it along, make sure we give accurate and good lines to our clientele, so they get a good play as well and get the best of the line. Thanks for showing all those numbers, Tony. Want to keep that up, and got some work to do. Gave some back last night, but that doesn't mean much for me right now. You see the numbers there, last 30 days, and again, that's based on a 100 unit, $100 play, 100 unit play, if you will. I know everybody treats units differently. I like the way Tony does it because it kind of puts it in real terms, if you will, rather than just broad brushing in 1 unit, 2 units, or whatever. It gives you a real amount that you can look at right there, and that's just based on a $100 plane. If you're buying our picks, I'm not saying they're cheap or inexpensive. I'm just saying that if you're buying these picks, you might be putting a little bit more on that. You could be up maybe as much as five or maybe even 10 times, Tony, over the last 30 days. That's certainly not out of the question given some of our viewers.
That's right, guys. Get on board here with Ramon Scott. If you can see, a shout out to my design team out here with the smart tab navigation. On other sites, it'll probably take you 20 minutes to find all this information. Having to click through all these numerous page views. Here's smart tab navigation. Just click the tab and get the results.
That's where I get it.
Yeah, I'm just telling you, there's a shout out to our design team. They're doing great work here over at TonySpeaks.com because
it's easy for me.
It's easy to find the numbers. Some of those sites, hey, listen, they're fishing for page views. I get it. We'll get our page views up by giving the user the best experience, and that's really what it is. We're all about the user experience first at TonySpeaks.com. That's why you see these little smart tab navigations like this that show the records. As I said, you can see it very easily how well Ramon's been doing at TonySpeaks.com. 7 days, his 30-day numbers, his 2022 numbers have been on fire here. NHL, NBA on tap here. You see the college football has been great. So you want to get on board with Ramon Scott over at TonySpeaks.com. As you scroll down, you'll be able to see a lot of the his packages up there right now. We talked about the college basketball Thursday evening 5-pack up there. Thursday night 3-pack from the NHL. Also in action here with the best bet here from the NFL game tonight. A 2-sport 3-pack as well going up from Ramon. Lots of action right now for today's card from Ramon Scott over at TonySpace.com. But here we are in November. And again, it's what I consider is probably a great time now to get those long-term passes. You can try Ramon out for 7 days, but really your best value is that 1-month all sports pass. As you'll go scroll down here, right near the bottom, but second from the bottom right, you'll find Ramon's 1-month all sports pass. You get all of Ramon's premium plays for 30 days. All of his NFL. Remember, we got those Thanksgiving games as well. We got the college football taking right to the end of the regular season, right before the start of the bowl season. When you get that 1-month all sports pass, we got all these great rivalry games coming up. We got the conference championship games coming up. That's all part of the 1-month all sports pass. His NBA as well as his college basketball. We'll very soon have these holiday tournaments as we get closer to Thanksgiving. We got the tournament in Maui. We got those NBA. We've got those tournaments on NBA arenas. We see the Madison Square Garden. See Barclays Center hosting games. They go out to Vegas and play games. We have a great time coming up here with the holiday season with all this around the clock basketball, right? During the holidays period, the Thanksgiving, you got games tipping off at 12 Eastern all the way to late night, 11:59. Eastern time, 12 hours there of nonstop start times here from college basketball coming up shortly. NHL, of course, Ramon, it will be in action here with the World Cup. When we get to the knockout rounds, that's going to be sometime in early December when these college basketball teams are in finals, and we have the end of the regular season college football. So we lose a little bit of college football games. We lose some college basketball with the finals, but boom, the World Cup knockout stages are right in front of us. So we'll have time to focus on that too, as well as the NBA, NHL, NFL. So that's the way the schedule's laying out. The 1-month pass is a great way to go. So get on board. We're going to save you some money here. We're going to save you $66 when you use that promo code TonyT at checkout. You can access Ramon's page by clicking the link in the description. Click the All Cappers tab and get signed up. And when you do that, you'll land right on Ramon's page. This is his profile page right here. This is where you land, and you'll be able to go here and check out those fantastic records like I did. And you can sort through very easily the time periods here. We're going to have a search bar here pretty soon where you can actually type in the time search. If you want more than this, You want to say, well, how has Ramon done since September 8th to November 10th? We're going to have that search up there pretty soon. So that's what we're working on. We're always making modifications to this, man. We don't just sit tight and just, we roll up our sleeves and get to work here to give the user the best possible experience over at Tony'sPicks.com. All right, Ramon, we've also put together a Twitter account for you. Speaking of user experience, more picks for those Twitter users out there on Tony's Picks Ramon.
Yeah, I'm in for the long haul, Tony, here at Tony'sPicks.com. I didn't join you in the GM of you seeing you guys do all this work and thinking tomorrow you're just going to decide it's all, well, you maybe not. No way. So go on over to Twitter, head on over there, Tony's Picks Ramon, and pick up a couple of plays today. I've got 2 plays in college basketball, big cards, so throw out 2 plays there for you at Tony's Picks Ramon on Twitter, where you get just the plays from me every day. So, man, you can just pick up plays on our morning show, on the videos right here on Game Day Picks. And, of course, those are our complimentary selections. We do work hard and give you the best possible plays that we have, but absolutely the best are over at Tony'sPicks.com as part of our premium picks. So appreciate everyone who subscribes to my picks or purchases the daily pick passes, because that's what keeps me coming on the show every day to talk to you about these games and watching games every night. It's what I love doing. So living the dream here with you, Tony. Head on over to Tony's Picks Ramon and pick up those 2 free winners. And Mindy and I'll be back on Saturday morning with more college football analysis, plus NBA and, of course, the NHL, because that's going to be the big Saturday hockey night package. So college basketball as well. A big weekend with all these. You kind of want to have all the sports together, but man, these college basketball games are going to be coming fierce over here once we get through, like you said, once I get through finals, get to these holiday tournaments. Some tournaments in Vegas, you say, huh? Maybe
Yeah.
check some of those out.
Maybe we'll get your credentials ready. Head out there. We'll get the remote courtside with some of his renounced. Not the first time we've seen people move from San Diego to Las Vegas. There was a couple of riders from San Diego that did that.
Yeah, I could think of a couple, a former boss of mine, if he's watching out there, Matt Jacob, who's a national handicapper now with the Action Network. Kind of bossed me around for a few years. There's one I can think of, certainly. And I'm trying. I got a few I can think of.
There's
Yeah.
a couple editors that did that. I remember that back in the day. They were asking, "Why are you leaving there? There's nothing going on in Vegas. You got the Chargers, you got the Padres, you got San Diego State. Nothing. Now it's flipped. Now it's flipped. Now it's flipped. There's NFL, there's hockey, and there's even talks of NBA and MLB coming to Las Vegas. So that's true. Things have changed over the past 15 years, no doubt about that. Ramon, we're going to check you out over at Tony's Picks Ramon for more plays. We'll check out the morning Steam show, guys, and of course for those of you at work and ready to make that commute home, don't forget you can catch the morning Steam in its entirety on our podcast platform, available on all the major platforms. Just do a search of Tony's Picks. You'll see the full length show morning Steam up there, 1 hour plus shows with a full breakdown on today's card from NBA. We got NHL up there, as well as and college basketball and more, and of course look aheads into college football and NFL. Check it out. It is the morning Steam on our podcast form over on those major platforms. All right, Ramon, as always, great having you on your show. Keep up that great work, and we'll talk with you again tomorrow.
Appreciate you, brother.
You got it. Ramon Scott here on Game Day Picks. Guys, we're here with Game Day Picks Monday through Friday here at